The world is a stage, they say. But what if it's also a chessboard, a grand, intricate game played out by unseen hands? Global events, seemingly chaotic, might be deliberate moves in a game of power. Wars erupt, alliances shift, economies tremble. Are these random occurrences or orchestrated maneuvers? Is there a grand plan, a design woven into the fabric of our reality? The idea is unsettling, even frightening. Yet throughout history, whispers of hidden hands and secret societies have never truly faded. Could these whispers be echoes of a deeper truth? The 21st century is no different. We find ourselves grappling with complex conflicts, economic upheavals and technological leaps. The rise of new superpowers challenges the old guard. Global anxieties simmer over climate change and resource scarcity. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to see only chaos. But what if we're not seeing the whole picture? What if these seemingly disparate events are in fact interconnected, controlled? This essay delves into these unsettling possibilities. We will explore the idea that global events are not random but part of a calculated strategy, orchestrated by forces operating in the shadows. Hold on tight, dear reader, as we journey into the heart of the global chessboard. The year 2022, a year that began with hope and new beginnings, quickly turned into a year of turmoil and conflict. Images of tanks rolling across borders, cities reduced to rubble, and the haunting aerial views of war-torn cities filled our screens, painting a grim picture of the unfolding crisis. Desperate civilians fleeing their homes, families carrying whatever belongings they could muster, and long lines of refugees walking on roads became the new reality for many. The Russian invasion of Ukraine shocked the world. News broadcasts showed Russian military vehicles entering Ukraine and Ukrainian soldiers bravely engaging in combat to defend their homeland. But was it truly a surprise? As people watched the news in shock, analysts in newsrooms began dissecting the invasion, questioning the inevitability of this conflict. Or was it merely the most visible move in a much larger game? A game of geopolitical chess, where every move is calculated and every piece strategically positioned. Some argue that the conflict is not simply about territorial ambition, but a proxy war for global dominance. Military analysts discuss the broader implications, debating whether this is a struggle for regional control or a larger battle for global supremacy. On one side, we have Russia, seeking to reassert its influence and challenge the post-Cold War order. Vladimir Putin's speeches and military parades are a testament to Russia's ambitions. On the other, NATO and its allies, determined to contain Russian expansionism and maintain their grip on global power. Western leaders convene in summits, strategizing on how to respond to the growing threat. Caught in the middle, the Ukrainian people become pawns in a deadly game. Amidst the ruins, they seek shelter from the relentless conflict, their lives forever changed. The conflict has exposed the fault lines in our globalized world, highlighting the enduring tensions between East and West, democracy and authoritarianism. Protests erupt and summit discussions intensify as the world grapples with these divisions. It has also raised uncomfortable questions about the role of international organizations, often seen as impotent in the face of naked aggression. The UN Security Council meets, but can they truly make a difference? The conflict in Ukraine is not an isolated event. It is a symptom of a deeper struggle, a manifestation of the ongoing battle for control of the global chessboard. International news headlines and global protests reflect the widespread impact. It is a symptom of a deeper struggle, a manifestation of the ongoing battle for control of the global chessboard. Strategists study world maps, trying to predict the next move in this high-stakes game. As the conflict rages on, one thing is clear: the stakes have never been higher, not just for Ukraine and Russia, but for the entire world order. High-stakes negotiations and tense discussions among world leaders underscore the gravity of the situation. The Middle East, a region steeped in history and riven by conflict, has long been a focal point of global power struggles. Its ancient cities and vast deserts have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, each leaving an indelible mark on the region's complex tapestry. Why? The answer lies beneath its scorching sands oil. This black gold has transformed the Middle East into a strategic prize coveted by nations around the world. This precious commodity, the lifeblood of the modern world, has fueled decades of intervention, instability and intrigue. The discovery of oil in the early 20th century set off a scramble for control, with foreign powers eager to secure their energy needs. From the shadow wars of the Cold War to the rise of radical extremism, the region has become a crucible for geopolitical maneuvering. Superpowers have vied for influence, often using the Middle East as a proxy battleground for their broader strategic aims. The thirst for control over this strategic region has led to a tangled web of alliances and rivalries. Nations have formed and broken alliances, each seeking to outmaneuver the other in a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess. Western powers, heavily reliant on Middle Eastern oil, have long sought to maintain their influence in the region, often propping up authoritarian regimes deemed friendly to their interests. This has led to a delicate balance of power, with Western nations walking a tightrope between supporting stability and promoting their own strategic interests. This interference has bred resentment and instability, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies to flourish. The local populations, often feeling marginalized and oppressed, have turned to radical groups as a means of resistance and expression. The rise of groups like ISIS and the ongoing conflicts in Syria and Yemen are stark reminders of the region's volatility. These conflicts have not only devastated local communities but have also had far-reaching implications for global security. But oil is only part of the equation. The Middle East's significance extends beyond its vast energy reserves. The Middle East is also a crossroads of civilizations, a melting pot of cultures and religions. Its cities are vibrant mosaics where ancient traditions and modern influences coexist, creating a unique and dynamic cultural landscape. This makes it a battleground not just for resources but for hearts and minds. The ideological struggles in the region are as intense as the geopolitical ones, with various groups vying to shape the future of their societies. The struggle for influence in the region is as much about ideology as it is about oil. The Middle East remains a complex and multifaceted puzzle, where history, culture and politics intertwine in ways that continue to shape the world. Haiti, the first black republic and a beacon of hope in the fight against colonialism, has a rich and tumultuous history. From its successful slave rebellion in 1804 to its ongoing struggles, Haiti's journey has been both inspiring and heartbreaking. Despite its proud beginnings, Haiti has long been plagued by poverty, political instability and natural disasters. These challenges have been compounded by a lack of infrastructure and resources, making recovery and progress difficult. This Caribbean nation has become a tragic example of how external powers can exploit a nation's vulnerabilities for their own ends. The presence of international aid workers and foreign military forces often brings more questions than answers. Multinational interventions, ostensibly aimed at providing aid and restoring order, have frequently been criticized for their effectiveness and true intentions. These interventions have often exacerbated existing problems and left the Haitian people further mired in poverty and despair. The clashes between peacekeepers and locals highlight the deep-seated tensions and mistrust. The 2010 earthquake, which devastated the island nation, brought the plight of Haiti into sharp focus. The sheer scale of the disaster was overwhelming, with entire communities reduced to rubble. As news of the earthquake spread, the world watched in horror. A massive international aid effort was launched, with countries and organizations pledging support and resources. Billions of dollars were pledged, and aid organizations flocked to the island. The initial response was swift and seemingly well coordinated, with rescue teams and supplies arriving from all corners of the globe. However, as the years passed, the effectiveness of this aid came into question. Despite the influx of resources, a decade later, Haiti remains one of the poorest countries in the Western Hemisphere. The stark reality is that the promised aid did not translate into tangible improvements for the majority of Haitians. The slums and poverty-stricken areas remain, and many children still lack basic necessities. Where did all the money go? This question looms large over the international aid efforts. Despite the billions pledged, the impact on the ground has been minimal. Critics argue that much of the aid was siphoned off by corrupt officials, both Haitian and foreign. Corruption and mismanagement have plagued the aid distribution process, leading to widespread disillusionment. Many aid projects were abandoned or left incomplete, resulting in ineffective infrastructure that failed to meet the needs of the people. The sight of unfinished buildings and broken promises is all too common. The Haitian people, meanwhile, saw little improvement in their lives. Families continue to struggle, and children play in the rubble of what were once their homes. Some see Haiti as a microcosm of a larger phenomenon, the exploitation of developing nations by powerful global actors. The dynamics at play in Haiti reflect broader issues faced by many developing countries. They argue that international interventions, whether military or humanitarian, are often driven by self-interest rather than genuine altruism. The motives behind these interventions are frequently questioned. Political and economic interests often take precedence over the well-being of the local population. Behind-the-scenes negotiations and strategic alliances shape the nature and extent of aid provided. Haiti's tragedy serves as a stark reminder that the road to hell is often paved with good intentions. The lessons learned from Haiti's experience are crucial for future international aid efforts.